All right, I think this is our third video, if I'm not mistaken. There's been a little bit of a halt, just kind of getting some things in order, but I am so certain that everybody is going to love what's about to transpire. Um, Me and the people, the people on my server, Monsoon, I will provide the link in the description below. We are making massive headway with this stuff. So get on in, the water is just fine. But the real main idea of what we're doing right now is my third typing session. And my third typing session is going to be of a person I know by the name of 10 Mil, or Anakin currently in my server if y'all want to come here, meet him, and say hi. But essentially, I'm going to be referring to him as 10 millimeter or 10 mil. So, first of all, hey 10 millimeter, how's it going?
Going pretty good.
Okay, that's good. So let me at least just put your name down, because I think I've told you, but I do this just kind of, I just do it document and then question and then off the cuff, and it works. So, I got your name, and now I need to know your age. How old are you, 10 millimeter?
I am currently 16 years old.
Okay, 16. And really, the first question I've started off with every time, and then it gets different, is what do you do right now? Let's first just answer that.
Like as an occupation?
Well, you can answer that in any way you'd like, really.
Okay, well, what do I do right now? So I'll start off by occupation. I'm a student. Um, Currently on a journey to get built. That's what I'm doing right now, mainly.
hmm
Studying theology.
hmm That's pretty much it.
Um, yeah, I guess. Unless you want to get into more specifics.
Oh, I would honestly, the more specific, the better. I just didn't know if you were just kind of done and waiting for me to ask. So if
Yeah.
you're thinking of more, I will shut up and let you speak.
No, I'd rather have questions asked.
That's totally fine. Let's see. So let's find a good question for you then. All right. So basically, where I kind of want to go with that is, we can tie in what we just said here, but also other things and find out the other functions. That's what makes this stuff so beautiful. When I ask what you do, you said, like an occupation, more or less. I said, yeah, that's fine. You said you're in school, you're a student, and you're studying theology, and that is wonderful. I'm so happy for you, but at the same time, I ask, where does this go? Realistically, as logically as possible, explain to me where exactly does this go?
Where does what go? My study of theology or the typing session?
Oh no, just the study of theology, and or really anything. What you're doing right now, what is your goal? Like, why are you even doing this? Why do you care? Why do you think you're not just gonna like die and not succeed?
Die and not succeed. Well, I'm kind of like destined for greatness just based off the bat.
Yeah.
Um, well, like first of all, I study theology because I've always had an interest in it. I've always had an interest in basically like spirituality, and I've never liked the idea of just this world is just a coincidence and there's no intelligent creator. Never liked that.
hmm
In my mind, it just never seemed right. So I started studying it about a year ago. Um, right now, I've decided I'm pretty much an Orthodox Christian. So because I view it as the most correct form of Christianity, most original. Um, I don't know what else. Yeah, I'm kind of just ancestrally destined for greatness as well.
hmm
I'm an Anglo-Saxon.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah. Fuck yeah. All right.
my 11th great grandfather is Oliver Cromwell, Lord Protector of England. So,
Is that so? That's
kind
like a
of
legitimate fact.
legitimate fact, yes.
And that is literally legacy right there. Your grandpa, or I'm sorry, I didn't.
Yeah,
You said grandpa, correct?
great grandfather, yes,
Great
11.
grandfather. My apologies. He did stuff back then when nobody even knew what the fuck a computer was. Now
Yes.
you're letting people know, so that's a beautiful thing.
hmm
Let's proceed.
Family's very important to me.
Yeah. Let's
Tradition.
see. I'll make note of that too. Ooh, that's kind of an interesting one. Um, I think what's going to be fun with you is I know how you are, and for context, this guy, he's very, very smart and gifted for his age and everything like that, but at the same time, he is very much just like, if I disagree with you, I am going to let you fucking hear it. So I know how this guy can be blunt and stuff like that, and while that's not to say that I'm going into this being like, oh, he's definitely this type or anything, I just think that I think the most I will get out of him and the most accurate I can get with this is for me to kind of play hypothetical games and scenarios. That's not going to be all the questions. That's probably not even going to be the majority. I'm gonna do a few of them, and this is going to be one of them. Um, it's kind of crazy though. 10 millimeter. If somebody were to come into your house and like literally have a gun, and there's no way you could stop them whatsoever, and they literally are saying, "I am going to kill all of the people in your household except for one," and you have the ability to choose, and it can't be yourself.
It
Who
would
do
be
you?
myself.
They said if
Um,
you choose yourself, they're just going to shoot you and all, and everybody dies. Really, only the way that anybody comes out of this alive is you and then person that you choose. What
that's a
happened? Who do you,
terrible situation that I
it?
wouldn't ever get myself in,
But why do you feel
um,
that way? Why would you never be in this situation?
because I have a gun.
Uh huh.
Yeah. Um, yeah, probably. It's a great question.
Hmm.
That's a crazy moral dilemma right there.
Oh, definitely. And you can think you've been saying a lot. So if you want to really just kind of do what I do and be long-winded, do that because I'm still typing the question, but I want to hear every single facet you have to say about this 10 mil.
Hmm. You can't do this. Hold up.
Oh, I
I,
can. It's my channel,
no, no,
and
no. I know
yeah.
you can, but like, it would have to be my brother. I think.
Yeah.
Reasoning being,
Wow.
no matter what happens to the rest of the family, me and him are like the descendants, the heirs who will carry on the bloodline of the last name, right? So I think it would be fair to save me and him,
Hmm.
even though in reality it wouldn't be fair.
Yeah. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Let's see. Okay, wonderful. So that looks good for now. You know what I think I'm noticing with you is often I put a lot of notation marks on these questions, based on what I assess from what you're saying. And this is not to say that I might not do this at some point, but typically the answers in which I'm provided with, I get that, and immediately after they give it, I'm just kind of like, typing. I'm like, this is this, in my opinion, and blah blah blah. Shows this dichotomy, you name it. But with these, I've only made one real analysis. So this shows a lot, but it doesn't really change what I already thought with you.
All
Not
right, buddy.
Yeah. No, it's not. And again, we've talked about, but that's not necessarily saying I'm on one type. Essentially, this is kind of what I've just seen to be the trend thus far. Is like people that people that are very animated and very very enthused and very passionate about things. It's if they really do kind of have this persona of people, like they're definitely either this type, or this type, so that's probably just what it is, and that makes this easiest. So I'm not saying that I'm like, oh yeah, I definitely think you're this type. I'm saying, yeah, this pretty much eliminates everything else.
Yeah.
The funny scenario where 10 mil is like an LII or any, we can joke about this forever because that's not a bannable offense,
Well,
but it's.
also for a little bit of context, why I'm so quiet right now, this is 12:30 for me, and I'm at my grandmother's house, so
Sure.
I can't really be too animated. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's very fitting that your typing session right now, you're cognizant of time and time zones, whereas the one before you was spongy, and we all know how we feel about her in time zones.
Spongy's just an idiot. She's
But
trying to argue semantics with
yeah.
me.
Anyway, let's just continue. Yeah, let's just do this. Let's just do. Let me pull up one of my pre-typed questions to kind of probe for something real quick. Huh. I know you haven't lived as long of a life as most people on here, but how would you say, like, from your first memories to now, like, could you identify some key ways in which you've really changed? Yes or no?
Some key ways in which I've really changed.
Yeah.
Well, I can think back to my biggest change is I think really when I was probably like 12 or 13. I really got a good picture of the world.
Hmm.
I don't know really from what. I think I just got outside more. Really, uh, I was put into school then, and I just saw the world more. And I think that was one of the biggest changes in my life because I saw really just how like social hierarchy worked and everything like that, and how I could put myself in it and control it. Kind of.
Hmm. Definitely.
I think
Okay.
that was the biggest turning point. But there's definitely some other ones. Let me think. What else? Like as soon as I got onto Discord, also that's biggest one because I saw this place is just full of like filthy degenerates. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. I'm sure there's some other turning points, but I'm being put on the spot kind of right now, and
Yeah.
um, I'm definitely probably missing some of them.
No. 10 mil, I often, if I make a little bit of a mistake, I will let you know, and I'm doing that right now. It's not a big one, but just bear with me. I guess in this question, if you would to get, because I forget if I said what was the biggest change in your life, or would you say your life has changed from then, and if so, why? I guess this is to say if you, I'm not trying to change your answer or give you a reroll. I'm just saying genuinely, if you answer, which question did you just answer exactly?
Which question did I answer exactly? Probably closer to the second one.
Okay. So essentially, by your answer, you were saying that you do feel as though your life has kind of has been changed. Like this is something you've experienced this change in your
Yeah,
life.
it's definitely been changed.
Okay.
I've lived in multiple different areas. I've been poor. I've been middle class. I mean, I've definitely had a
Interesting.
lot of
Yeah.
life changes and experiences.
Okay. Hmm. Let's see.
Despite what people on the internet may think and assume of me.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Let's keep going then. Um.
Yeah.
Let's see. I guess you. I forget honestly too if it was during the session now or if it was just a conversation maybe we had earlier, but it's still fair for me to ask. I know that at one point you said you wanna make money and stuff like that. I think it was when everybody was arguing earlier, quite
Yeah.
frankly. um,
Yeah. I
but
think it was.
when you say yeah, it's like everybody should genuine. That's where I stand at least. But I guess for you exactly explain what is making money. Like how much money would you like to make and how would you make this money? Just give me like a rundown of this whole entire thing for you.
How much money would I like to make? Well, I'd
Yeah.
like to make an infinite amount of money in reality,
Okay.
but that's not really possible, eh? Well, hmm. Yeah, well, right now I'm only 16, so what I'm basically doing right now is I need more life experience. I need more experience.
Mhm.
And so I've been looking for jobs. I used to work for a lawn care company, but right now I'm mainly just door dashing, which is super easy money, super, super easy. You only work like 4 to 5 hours a day, and
Mhm.
after that, I research basically like e-commerce and other things.
Okay.
I don't really have any plans to like do trading or anything like stock trading, but I could.
Okay.
And in the long run, I guess to make money, you just got to exploit a market. You know what I mean? Exploit like a valuable product.
Okay.
If we're just being like basic, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Really think about it. That's how everyone else makes money. Think of Andrew Tate. He's the biggest example right now. Cornered a market on like OnlyFans and other things, cam whores, etc.
Yeah.
And he exploited it, and he made a lot of money.
So what you?
Extremely influential person.
Yeah. Hold on one second. All So you touched on something interesting there. You basically said you were giving notice to the Andrew Tate and kind of the cam girls and all this that and the other that we are all like acutely aware of just exists, whether people like it or don't like it, right? Would you say you like that
Yeah.
stuff actually? I mean, do you like it or not?
Oh, morally?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
But my morals can be outweighed by pragmatism, I guess.
Hmm. That does seem to be the case with you, and that's off. I mean, that's really going to be a big part of the deciding factor. See, what's the way I'm trying to approach this is I want to be as transparent as possible with the viewers in regards to what I'm doing. So when I'm asking certain things
Yeah.
in which there's nuance, and I want you to be misled, I'm misleading, but with everything else, I am honest, and I think you're the same way. So it's really cool. Um, but I guess when, right here you said you morally do not like it, but you can see the value. I'll actually type that out too. Value in the pragmatism. There we
Mhm.
go. I guess when you see value in the pragmatism, but you morally do not like it, which one do you view as just inherently more important?
Inherently more important.
Like if you're an Andrew
Let's
Tate's,
see.
can I ask?
It's hard to say
Go ahead.
because worldly. I mean, worldly money is more important, but spiritually, like moral is more important.
Hmm.
So,
Hold on.
but I'd say in the world, I mean, you. What I've noticed is I really can't stop these people from doing what they're gonna do, right? So I might as well just corner and exploit a market, and have my family reap the profits because I can directly influence my family and help them out. And family
Hmm.
is like the most important thing for me.
Okay, 1 second. All right, give me about 15 more seconds. Okay, wonderful. I guess one last part of that question I would like to ask is, you know, I got a little bit overzealous. I was like, wait, 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 no. What about this? And I'll let you finish. But your answer you gave me, I'm not going to omit that or anything because this isn't really asking the same question but rephrasing. It's essentially just asking it from a different perspective
Yes.
too. If you were in Andrew Tate's position and let's say you could achieve all the money to help your family, but you would have to do this thing in which you felt was morally bad. What would that be like for you? Kind of tell me a story, if you will. What does 10 mil do in this scenario?
What does 10 mil do in the
Yeah.
scenario? Well, I don't think we're in this. I'm in the same scenario right now as Andrew Tate, but because he's much poorer than me or was. But if I was in the same scenario as him, I think I probably would have taken a similar course of action, maybe just earlier though. But I guess you want me to tell you a story, so let's put me in like, hmm, let's put me in Bardstown, Kentucky. Okay, I'm in Bardstown, Kentucky. It is the year 2016. Okay, let's say I'm 17 years old then, right? I
Mm-hmm.
live in a poor trailer family. I'm in a double wide trailer, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I discover this e-commerce stuff, right? Or not
Sure.
even e-commerce, but like say e-prostitution almost, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, I'd do what he did. I mean, I'd start like trying to be their manager. I'd be like charismatic, trying to like make them get into my business. I've got these good deals, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, all these other managers
Oh
don't give
wow.
you the same
Yeah.
cut, you know what I mean? They don't give you the same cut. I'll give you a better cut, and it's just going to be better working for me. You'll make a lot more money,
Yeah.
etc. And I'd build my empire off that.
Okay. Let's see.
I
There's two.
basically just took his story.
Yeah, but what's funny is I'm actually going to prompt you in two different ways after this. Just bear tight, but be thinking about the story and kind of thinking a little bit more to like what happens after that. But let me guide the question. Just allow me to type.
Yeah.
See. Okay.
If you just want to give me more like prompts or like questions, that'd probably be better and to give you more insight on me.
No, this is actually going to give me a lot of insight to you, and you'll see why.
Okay.
After you, I mean, let's, we can play the logic game together. You did say that one of the reasons why you want to make money is just to kind of help your family out because that's most important to you. You did say this, right?
Correct.
Of course you did. I fucking wrote it down. Anyway, um, secondarily, you would be doing. I mean, you would not be pimping out girls essentially or doing this cam girl stuff just because it's your passion in life. You would be making the
Yeah.
money, and you're saying that you would have rationalized that you would assess that making the money and giving it to your family and helping out that is more important to you than you just feeling as though it's morally bad. I mean, you get the gist, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess what I'm asking you is you go home and I'm not going to tell you necessarily like what you think your family would say or not, blah blah blah. But essentially, paint me the story now and kind of let me poke a little bit more and say like, how do you justify this to your family exactly?
Okay.
Uh huh.
Well, we'll justify this. Well, a lot of my family is already like less moral than me, so I don't think I'd have to justify it to them. I'm not trying to. Well, actually, yeah, I am trying to say I do stand at like a moral high ground, sort of, kind of. Not really though, because I do disregard morals in some cases. But my point is that they probably would not care.
Okay.
Not gonna lie.
Hold on one second.
Especially because it's not like real prostitution. I'm not pimping someone out on
Oh
the
yeah,
streets.
and let me actually type all of this out because this is like genuinely like gold mine breakthrough stuff. Hold on my end, and I
Okay.
think on your end too. And but we will ask a lot. We will make sure this is for certain. Let me just get all this out. Okay. Hmm. Hmm.
Ooh, there's a tick on my ball sack. I'm serious, dude. Hold up. I
You
got it.
should probably take care of
I'll,
that. I don't
yeah,
want
I'll
there to
be
be a
back in like
death on. Yeah,
20
you do what you need
seconds.
to do. Let's see. Hang on.
All right, I'm back.
All right, I'm still like finishing this up, so just like maybe give me 20 more seconds. Let's see.
Y'all ever been in Wisconsin? You know how it is. Ticks are everywhere. Nasty little parasites.
Ooh, I have a good question for you based on what you just said. Hang on. Okay. Because honestly, you know what? And I think this is my appeal. Honestly, everybody that's listening and hasn't been privy to all my just tangents and tangents of really what I want to do to let y'all know my creativity, and we all just work together. My audience, all of you guys. Um, I guess what I'm saying here is I am more than willing to kind of I'm a changer of the mind of sorts. So I was going to ask a question in which I was going to say, lastly, justify this not to your parents, but justify it to God. And I was gonna
Ooh.
ask this, but I will say this too. When you said Wisconsin, it made me think of football as well. The Green Bay Packers. I know you're a fan of them, so I'm gonna give you kind of another conundrum. You can either answer more or less that God question, or we can go into a new football question. Which one do you want to actually answer? Because I'm only gonna let you do one.
God. Okay, so how would I justify this at the pearly gates? John 10:33. Oh, well, I'm gonna say Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, right? Savior is a key word on that. No, this is a morally wrong action. It is a sin. But if you know about theology and Christianity, you would know that all humans are sinners and they cannot be fully ever relieved in sin unless they profess Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior and repent for their sins. Justifying this, I'd probably, after I made money, I would probably stop and start living a more moral lifestyle, which is what Andrew Tate is trying to do. But like, he converted to Islam, and Islam is just completely bonkers. It's completely fake. Muhammad was an illiterate plagiarizer who had scribes plagiarize for him. Okay, I'm not going to get on the tangent, but you guys know what I mean.
And you know what's awesome is I hate to say this, I hate to be venomous towards everybody else, but my whole goal with this, there's a lot of platforms in which people would be like, whoa! I am like genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, rooting for everybody on here to be saying stuff whatever they think, no matter how controversial, because at the end of the day, if we're really onto something with all this stuff, and I'm going to give y'all a sneak peek real quick, and I hate to hijack my session of you, 10 mil, I hate that I'm hijacking it, I just need to make this very clear, and I think you'll appreciate this. I think we could get to something greater. If socionics is real or not, I don't know. But what I do know is very real is getting whatever you truly feel is your passion out there. And if your passion is this and this,
Yeah.
I don't know. But we can't. My passion right now is to figure out what the hell is going on with how do we all get along, blah, 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 all that big stuff. And what is misplaced to do is to mince your words and not let people know who you truly are. Because I often say in my videos, transparency, transparency. That is how you get to the bottom of all this stuff. That is professionalism. And frankly, it's more fun this way because we get to actually treat it like a tactical game. Do we not, 10 mil? Do you agree with that?
I'd say you do.
I'm not even. I don't care about me in this. I'm saying, do you say we do? Like, just us. That's the
I
idea.
guess yes, we do.
Yeah.
I
That
guess
wasn't.
so.
No, I'll be transparent too. That's not. I'm not typing your answer. I was just genuinely wanted to get that out. But essentially, it's just. I'm glad that he said that. I'm always going to prompt people to say whatever they want because at the end of the day, we're talking like pseudo psychology pretty much, and psychologists they kind of have to analyze crazy stuff. People that think this way, and 10 mil is not a crazy thinker. He's actually one of the most rational people I know. But in the sense we can't get perturbed by controversy, we have to treat this like a science. Anyway, did you have any more to say on that question? I'm sorry, I kind of went crazy.
I don't know if I have too much to say. I think I got it out there pretty clear.
Okay. Let's see. All right, 1 second. All right. Well, one thing I was not transparent about is I kind of lied. I'm going to ask you the football question still, but it was just to see where yeah, come on. Anyway, so when what do you like, why do you like football? If you do, and this, it's not a speculation, it's I know this, so I'm just cutting the bullshit out. Why do you like football?
Well, I mean, I don't really love football. It's more so just like a pastime to talk
Yeah,
about
that's
with other
fine.
people because it's very relatable. But it is a very physical sport, and I do like that.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'm seeing it more and more now as like a surrogate activity. If any of you have ever read like a Ted K's, the Unabomber's Manifesto, you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yes. So I guess what's kind of something interesting to ponder is we're both in this landscape where we can at least appreciate football, but also appreciate typology. And those they kind of seem like weird. They kind of seem like weird meshed together. You often, it's kind of like Big Bang Theory crowd with like Discord typology. It's kind of just like drunken New Jersey Northerners for NFL football. I get it. That's just kind of stereotypes, but they can intertwine. So, what do you like? Let's say if you were to go on Discord and I don't know. I guess if there was, let's say there was a small. let's say there was a small VC in which there was about 2 or 3 people and they were talking typology. Now, I'm having a lot of fun with this because I can just be blunt with you. Let's say the above thing is typology discussion and it is me and Key running this. Only us, and just you're in there, and I give you the stipulation of you have to be respectful. If not, then you get like muted, timed out, whatever. Um,
I'd probably.
no, just listen. So that's one. That's scenario one where it's typology and you learn this stuff, and maybe even just kind of other stuff that pertains to anything. Just kind of the general ramblings that I do. That's what that's gonna be, but it's more or less it's just like that's what it's gonna be. The below one is just genuinely people streaming football and watching it. And it's you and Alexander and Sid and all the people like that. Big old chat. Which one do you choose? And like, how do you go about this?
Well, I'm inclined to hang out with my boys, dude.
Hmm.
I'm inclined. Well, I'm not. I'm probably more interested in typology than I am in football, but there's definitely a lot more fun banter to be had with Alex, Sid, and Camo.
Okay.
And I already don't get along with Key, so it'd probably just result in me being timed out.
Okay. Let's see. Well, I guess when you're in, like, let's do a part two, so I can just kind of do something else here.
Yeah.
When you're in there and everybody is watching football, what would you most like to be doing in the situation? Like, would you just, or what would you most likely do? I apologize. Would it more be? I'm not going to give you the actual frame of the answer. I'm not going to give you the skeleton. Just what would you do if you went down there? Like, give me another story walkthrough, if you will.
Another story walkthrough. So let's like look at the scenario. We got Alex, Sid, blah blah. This who
Hmm.
watching football down there. It's probably not going to be very quiet. People aren't really going to be super invested in watching football, but they're definitely going to be watching it, right? I mean, I'd probably say some out of pocket stuff and start talking about like working out with like Sid or something. You know what I mean? David Goggins running type stuff. Or there's another situation where me and Alexander start talking about like spirituality or like Nietzsche or something or vitality, anything like that. Um, but we'd probably all be somewhat just watching the football game.
All right, one moment.
That'd probably be a little bit more rambunctious though,
Sure.
because I don't really. Hold on, I'll say another thing. I do not like when people watch movies or shows or anything on VC. Not to like diss you, Heina. I know you do that, but like
Yeah.
actually no, to diss you because you do it so much, and I don't really just see it. I don't ever like it, but I guess most people do enjoy it.
Okay. Let's see.
I just never really liked it.
Yeah. 1 second. Okay. I guess two. Well, one, I want to say this to kind of lead you into where this question is going. Hold on. You said that you thought you dissed me, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Well, I'm gonna phrase it to you like this. I think, quite frankly, I think you didn't diss me at all because essentially you just told my audience that I'm a super big just streaming. If you want to watch something and just scratch your belly button, you can come in here and I have everything you need. Thank you, 10 mil. I forgot that I did this, but I'm just playing with you. But this does kind of tie into that essentially. Why do you think I stream so much? Genuinely.
Maybe because you're interested in it, or it catches the attention of others to join VC.
Mm, hold on. Well, I guess I mean yeah, but that's very like surface level. Like I want you to kind of give me an intricacy. Like if you're me, and you don't even have to be me. Just like genuinely, like you're like, okay, why does Jonah do this so much? Other than yeah, he's probably interested because he's streaming this, and yeah, he'd obviously prefer people to go into VC rather than not. But like maybe why does he pick certain things? Why does he do this? Why does he sometimes do it? You just talk.
Well, I think it seems like you want to get other people's opinions on things, mainly. That's why you stream a lot of controversial stuff, usually like Adam Lanza or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Let's see.
Um,
Yeah, keep talking.
I don't really see what, like I said, I don't really understand why someone would do it. So, yeah, there's my answer.
All right, 1 second. All right. Um, what do you? Ooh, I got a good one for you. I think you'll have a pretty nuanced opinion on this. I'll give you 10 seconds to at least choose an answer, and then you have all the time in the world to rationalize why. It's got to be quick though, so you ready?
Go.
Okay. What do you think is the most important invention that has been made by humans?
The most important human invention is
Yeah.
probably weaponry, or maybe like a sword.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and now you can relax. Take a deep breath and you can totally just think. And it'll give me time to, if you want to, I actually do not say a single word for 10 seconds while I type this. Just think. And after that's done, you tell me why. Okay?
Wait. Oh, hold on. Does it have to be a single thing like a sword, or just weaponry in general?
I'll let you decide that.
I'll do weaponry.
Cool. Okay, 1 second. Let's see. Okay. Alright, so going with weaponry. Weaponry slash that. But we'll lock you in with weaponry specifically.
Yeah.
Give me the why.
The why. The why. The why. Okay. The why is weaponry is extremely important because without weaponry, the world would just be boring. What are you going to punch an animal to death? You going to just punch a human to death? No, you got to actually like engage them with swords. I love like the whole idea of sword fighting and fencing stuff like that because it's such a beautiful art. Um, but it's very intense. It's very engaging. You engage with the other person. You have to predict their moves. You have to feel like what they do. Feel.
Mm-hmm.
No, but also hunting is extremely fun and it's also extremely important. I mean, it's like the spear. The spear, like that was the best invention probably because that let us hunt animals from long range when we couldn't before. Um, and hunting, as you know, is very, very vital for humans.
Mm-hmm.
Or I don't know if you know. Do you
I'm
know?
just listening. Just keep, I'll give you my take on that after you're done typing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Well, hunting is just a very human thing in general. If you don't like hunting, there's probably something a little bit wrong with you mentally. You're
Yeah.
like,
Yes.
no,
Keep
hold
going.
on.
Keep
I'm
going.
not even
I'll shut up. I just found that funny. Sorry.
like if you don't like hunting or you don't like fishing or something like that, the animals can feel pain. You're like a human. You're meant to hunt and like dominate these animals. You're like this intelligently designed creature God put on this earth to like rule, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like I hate people who are like human racists almost. Like they hate the human species. We're so insignificant. We're so weak. Stuff like that. Because we aren't. We're the best creature ever
Mm-hmm. Let's
in
see.
some regards.
All right. 1 second. And specifically, because I was kind of typing and getting lost in the sauce there, if you will, when you said that if somebody does not, like, takes issue more or less with hunting or fishing, you said that what would they be exactly again?
I don't even remember what I said,
Well,
but
just candidly, are they
instinctually,
dumb? Are they dumb? Are they gay? Are they weak? What are they?
oh no, I remember what I said. I said they're mentally ill in some capacity
Sure.
because they're like they live like probably a sheltered life, privileged life. They haven't really experienced the world. They've never had like an animal try and kill them, probably, right? So yeah, they're not human anymore, really, or they're a shell of a human,
Okay.
just in my opinion.
Okay.
which is the
So I
correct opinion.
guess we're kind of honestly, I mean, I think it's at first I was really like confused. I was because I told you this again, transparency. At first I was like, man, this kind of just tells me what I already know, but we really kind of like back ended this thing. I think we've kind of almost wrapped it up. Not in a sense where I'm trying to like say, oh, let's wrap it up. I'm simply saying that I pretty much probed for about five different things in the past couple questions. It all is kind of lining up, but there's still some things I'm a little skeptical about, so we'll keep it rolling.
All
That
right.
last thing that was interesting, you said shell, you're not really human, just a shell of a human.
Yeah. Well, what I mean by this is basically like this person has lost all human nature. They've become like this city-oid person. I don't know. They live in the city. They haven't experienced the wilderness.
Yeah.
I mean, they probably haven't even like tried to fight anyone as like another human. They're like a shell of a human. They've never engaged in combat or anything like that.
Hmm.
That's why like you see these people on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
Well, mostly they might even be trolls, but it's just like I legit heard someone say, "You don't need to be hunting for meat. You can just buy it at the store." Like you're a dense human. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you one thing. I unfortunately have like not really done much hunting in my life or anything, but it is not out of like me not liking to do it. Honestly, if everybody really supports my vision here and just genuinely wants to take what I am offering here in every platform and just we all because I really
Yeah.
if 10 mil, he can say what he wants and say otherwise. I'm genuinely in this to learn and succeed so I can find a path. I think what's cool about this thing is 10 mil tells me where he stands on hunting. I more or less think that would be super fun. I really would like to hunt gators because oh my god, does it taste good?
Dude,
And it's
gators,
badass
that'd
too.
be
You hunt
elite.
gator like who you are literally like top tier. But I guess what I'm saying is just that to me at least just I like the very notion of just thinking we can do this hunt thing. It may seem like nowadays everything's so sterile and whatnot, but we can do this through actualizing and getting this real world like sense of carnal stuff. And I'm kind of rambling here, so I'm gonna shut up and ask you like
Yeah.
maybe one or two more questions. I
All
guess
right, all right.
yeah, I guess kind of branching off what I was saying there, in a sense, like if you were to get a level of like comfortability, um, or rather, let me retract a little bit, step back, if you will. Um, 10 mil. If you let's say you were just given 800. No, 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 no. Let's say you're given $5 million right now to disperse amongst you and your family, and pretty much like that you just are given a check and that happens. What do you and your family do exactly? Do y'all pretty much just use this to live a life of just not having to really be involved and deal with anybody, or do y'all like basically just make this money work for itself and try to become like generationally rich? Like, what do you think is most important here for you?
Well, I
Or
can't really decide my family's answers, so.
yeah,
But do you want me to go on my answers and what I do with the money?
yeah,
You said 8 million,
yeah. Or I think I said like five. Honestly, let's do 5 to 7.
5 million, 5 to 7. I'll settle on 7.
Okay.
So
Nice.
what I
Yeah.
do is I'd probably give my parents each $1 million. My siblings each, I've got four,
Mhm.
500,000. Um, then I'd probably take the rest of it and mhm. I might buy some things, right? I might buy some things. I might buy a new house or something, buy a new car. But I'd probably just put it in like a savings account. I might take a few or like a few 100,000 out every now and then, like bet it on something, right? Try to make my money back, maybe double it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, but I'd probably just let it sit in a savings account while I try and make more money. And like you said, probably become generationally wealthy
Okay.
because that's the most important thing to me, at least.
Okay.
Yeah, everything about me is about like my future grandchildren, my children, my family right now, everything.
Yes. And that's wonderful. And I think I have one last question for you. And typically, I really, I'm just kind of like, all right, well, blah blah blah. But I'm, this is the real me when I talk like this. I just have one more for you. I think you're gonna kind of like this question, and it's another kind of story hypothetical, but it's one that will really just confirm what's going on here, and then you'll get your type, and you finally can leave me the fuck alone about it.
Dude, hold on. Let's be honest here, dude. I haven't
Yeah,
even been
tell him.
bothering you half as much as the other people.
Oh no, not
Okay.
at all. That's why I can poke fun at you. I can actually say that sentence without you screaming down my throat, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But 10 mil, I have one last question for you. Um,
Yeah.
I guess what I'm about to ask is this. You talk about you would if you got this money, you would do this with your fam. You'd give these people all this stuff, and frankly, hate to do this, but the exact okay, I give 1 mil to this person. I did not even write that down. I don't even remember what you fucking said because this really is inconsequential to what I'm trying to arrive at. But I will ask you this one last question, 10 mil.
Go ahead.
You have all this money, you give all the money to the people, you make the money, and you're just at a point where, let's make it very positive. Let's say you and your brother and your mother, your father, just your whole entire family, whoever you live with, all these people that are important to you and you want to share your wealth with. All of these people just have all this money. I want you to either as long-windedly or not, just paint me a picture of what do you think you could, if you are to do all these things, excuse me, I'm getting
Yeah.
a little lost in the sauce. Paint me a picture of in the future what you view as like, just if you could create it, what would the happiest moment be in your life? What do you
The
see in this?
happiest
Yeah.
moment.
Uh huh.
The happiest moment would be me at 75 years old,
Uh huh.
living somewhere in England on a mountain with 10 children, multiple grandchildren, and living in a log cabin that's extremely large.
hmm
That's the happiest moment
Okay. All right. Sound
with my
good.
wife.
Sounds good. Let me type a couple things. I'm about to give you the type. Okay.
Okay.
Let's see. Hmm. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Almost done. All right. Bam, you're in the books. Are you ready?
Yeah,
All right. I'm going to ask you right now, and I always do this with everybody. What type do you think I'm going to type you?
probably LSI.
Why do you think that?
Um, I think that instinctually.
Weird answer, but yeah, that's the case. And
Yeah.
yeah, this is so valuable because we can speculate and VCs and stuff like this and all this stuff, and but it's kind of just there's too many variables for it to be real. I can talk to you like this, and I can the only sort of variable, stimuli, whatever you want to call it, that exists right here is me and you. And that's often why, it frustrates me when people go into, uh, you know, they go into places and there's just a large thing. It's just unorganized. I like this to be organized, but I like you to be candid and free as well. That's why I truly believe we
Yeah.
found your actual typing of LSI. Again, I implore you to do your own research, but if you do this research, then that kind of just makes you more of an LSI. I'm not. I'm fucking with you, but I'm not. But seriously, there's so much
No.
here,
Yeah.
and I offer the anybody watching too. If you do this, you want to get typed, I give you the document. I write a nice little blurb at the end. Would you like to hear about what I wrote for you? And I think this might. If you want to hear specifics, I
Yeah.
can give you specifics as to why, but this is kind of, you did this living in England on a mountain, blah blah blah. I think essentially what I was struggling because at this point, as you probably would have guessed, it was between SLE and LSI, right? Like
Hmm.
it's pretty showy. Again, we get the SEE and your more enthusiastic moments, but I just genuinely think the fact that, and it's not to say my understanding of FI is not that he would not do a good or he would do a bad thing. FI is low, but it's just a sense he basically rationalized I mean, he's very religious. We all hear he's very religious, moralistic, but he was just like, no, it would make more rational sense to do the pimping out and all this stuff. And at least to me, and again, there was another indication. Let me see if I can find it real quick, and then I'll give you the blurb. Um, Oh, it was if I find it exactly, I'll read it to you. But more or less, it was just when you were. It was. I think it was that question too. It was a big FI probe. Honestly, it's just me seeing. Okay, you go to your family. How do you rationalize this? And you kind of gave me this answer that, well, you know how you said intuitively you thought I would type you LSI.
Yeah.
Well, intuitively, I just somehow knew this. I was like, this kid. It makes sense now. It's why so many people type SEE and SLE. It's kind of like with me, but with me, it's just
I
nobody.
type myself those.
Yeah. Well, I know, but I know we get crazy ones for you. I get it, but just let me speak. I'm just
Okay.
yeah. With me, you know how there's always SLE or SEE, and I'm always searching, but it's kind of like those two a lot. It's a similar case with you, but I think your FI is a little bit more nuanced than mine. I think genuinely with mine, it's either I don't understand what FI means and I'm just SEE, if it's like, completely backwards, or it's just like I am very, very much like FI polar because I am just like, I'm going about this whole entire thing removed from just, or really trying to, because you can't be for certain, but just I am like, I want to taste the blood of all this stuff,
Yeah.
not to sound hyperbolic, but I also want to be somebody that's just like, okay, if this really upsets me or not, I can turn it off. With you, I feel like this is almost at play with you because the theory would suggest you would be FI roll, if I'm not mistaken. But it's not completely polar because we sense it. It's almost like, we watch Audit the Audit, we talk about it a while. You know, you know how if cops are trying to find weed on somebody, it's obviously if there's a lot more weed, it's gonna smell like more weed. So it's just like, okay, this maybe would suggest if the FI is weed, then God, the as then
What?
SEE. I'm just saying if FI was weed and you were SEE, then you would be a big old pothead. But
Yeah.
if you were FI polar, then you would be just squeaky clean, like go to, enlist in the military, whatever, and they would not even do the hair follicle, whatever bullshit. I don't even know if that really works or not. Essentially, this is to say that you are not a weed smoker. You don't like weed, but you've tried it like once or twice. Does that make sense with you? It's kind of like your FI isn't non-existent, but it doesn't really impede on your objectivity. It's a really cool
Yeah.
typing. I honestly think LSI is the second or third most. I'm working on a project, and this goes to you and everybody else listening. I want to not necessarily say the best and the worst type, but kind of do it different sort of dimensions of competency with each one of these, so we can put it into actual application. And kind of if socionics isn't the real deal, we get out of there. But I am learning through all this stuff there's application in just simply talking about this stuff. We're meeting so many people, exploring all these ideas, and we're really all on the same side here, and it's fucking awesome. Um,
Yeah.
but let me not get too long-winded. I would much rather just us go down. We can discuss other stuff. And yeah, I mean, I haven't asked this yet, but do you truly feel satisfied with that typing? Do you feel like that's the most accurate for you?
Yeah. Well, if we're being honest, that's the type I came into this community thinking I
Oh,
was.
okay, interesting.
But Lamb Sauce decided that I was I was an SLI. You know.
And see,
So
yeah, and again, like I am trying to be as professional as possible in all YouTube endeavors, but I will say, with he said Lamb Sauce, who is a guy that owns the Jungle server, He did type 10 mil SLI, and I'm actually on my end just so we can kind of get through this and maybe at least I don't know if I am right or if Lamb is right or if anybody truly knows, but we're just trying to legitimately find the truth. Let's do a little bit of a comparison with these two, if you will. Let me pull up SLI just so we can visualize them side by side. Okay, so for SLI, very clearly it's, SI base, right? So
Huh?
yeah, I'm just kind
I
of doing.
zoned out.
Oh, you're all good, man. Um, SI base, and by the way, just that very notion, I think the fact that you literally just kind of like tuned out for a second. I mean, I'm being very, very like jokey right now. This is not indicative of my actual opinions necessarily, but I'm just kind of using this as a talking place. The fact that 10 mil, he's not some like cop, like always paying attention stereotype of just like, I'm always like just sensor in tune. Because essentially we look, SI is often about the comfort and homeostasis, but it's just becoming aware of the stuff. It's it's sensing things and just, having it come to you internally. It's all ties together, and that's why it's kind of cool that somebody even formulated these thoughts. So again, back to what Lamb Sauce typed you. SI it would really insinuate that just when it comes to the taking in the physical into yourself, this would just be everything you do. And I think you have the ability to do it well, but you LSI and SLE, they're mirror types, and essentially this is to suggest that you don't value SI because you never really talk about SI stuff ever. I think honestly, I think
Yeah.
it in a real sense, no, I don't value SI, and actually this would be to suggest that you do SI better than me. It's like it's literally where mirror functions. It's like my type is just really close to yours but different. Yours is SI demonstrative, which is 4D, unvalued. Whereas mine would be, 3D unvalued from what I believe, me being SLE. Um, but it's kind of weird because you see that you do this well. It's like literally the lamb sauce theory that you are SLI is 4D. Mine also suggests that you are 4D. Um, but this kind of shows that like there's so much similarity yet there's difference in how we perceive people. So I guess going off of the definition I gave you of SI just there, and we're not going to go down every function. I genuinely would rather just talk to our people and keep it there and do another typing session later on. But just in essence, I'm kind of trying to do something in real time in application, show everybody how beautiful it is to just really simplify all this stuff. Um, 10 mil when it comes to comfort and homeostasis and really just taking stuff in and you feel more viable because you don't necessarily have to feel like an absolute like lollygagger, but it's just do you feel more
Yeah.
viable when you take stuff in, which would if you were to say this would be SLI, like if you take everything in, does this give you comfort? Now, and again, it's not saying how much you do this, it's saying values. It's this something that you
Yeah.
truly feel is important as life to and do you feel that's more important than like what TI would suggest, which is just principally assessing stuff, having it be very organized? This is this way, and there is very just kind of rigid, which also was another thing I probed for. I was probing for if you are rational or irrational. Again, SLE would be irrational, LSI would be rational. So that was a real kicker too. But
Yeah.
just anyway, going off of what I said, what would you say you value SI? Yes or no?
Probably not in the Socionics description.
Okay. And why would you say you
What
don't?
OG?
And why would you say you don't value it 10 mil?
Well, I'm not. I do not really look for comfort at all. If we're
Hmm.
being honest,
Yeah.
I avoid comfort. If anything,
Hmm.
that's why I actively like doing different things. Where I like here, like take a for example, I'll force myself to read. I'll force myself to like start
Yeah.
running or something. I'll force myself to make money. None of this is in my comfort zone. None of this
Hmm.
is based on comfort. And I'm sure there's other things that I'm probably just blanking on right now as well. But
Yeah.
yeah,
So I'm going to kind of logically break down why I just truly believe I am right in this situation. Now, what you just told me is that and again, you have no reason to lie. Your brother, you have a real life verifiable person that says, yes, you are this. I mean, not verifiable, but it's as likely based on your friendship. It would just be hard to keep this a LARP and a lie. I mean, you would get nothing out of
yeah,
this. You don't gain or lose anything So what I asked you just now is what you genuinely feel is a value of yourself, or more or less what is life all about? You basically just told me that you do not value the comfort, literally by your very words. I mean, if we want to get in semantics, fine, but you essentially just told me that you're like, I don't care about the comfort and stuff. I force myself. I force myself to do this. You put yourself, through rigorous, not comfortable things, right?
Yeah,
But at the same time, earlier you said that you do want, when it's all said and done and this stuff, you just want to live kind of this comfortable landscape where it's just, it is orderly, but you identified family. You said family is everything to you. And TI is a little bit
mm,
about the principles. That's why it's valued in beta. It's really about the principles. That's all you cared about the entire time. You didn't care that you were in England and all this stuff just because you are and you're comfortable. You cared because it's like your exactment of like your family and all this stuff. You're
yeah,
totally a family family guy. Whoa. Anyway,
yeah. I'm a family guy.
but you are a family guy. That is what you are. You literally told me that, like, I think it sounds weird, my man, but the fact that you even gave a real answer to if somebody broke into your house, like, which family member would you keep? It makes me think like this is genuinely a scenario. I know you said you hadn't discussed it, but maybe you discussed this with your family and y'all do this rationally. I feel like that's something y'all could get behind. I'm just saying that it shows with you very much you care about your family and society and stuff like this, which shows beta quadrant just by like stereotype, but also just genuinely shows that TI with you genuinely value it. So that is alpha or beta. It's just that's a show, and you told me with your very words that you did not value SI. Um, if you're lying about what you value and don't value, then I am duped. But essentially, I am
Yeah,
only sub. What?
continue.
No, yeah, because I'm making a point. I think you're going to appreciate this. I would be duped in that scenario, but at the same time, I am not tied to my typings. I only go off of what you get me. So if I am lied to or not, I don't care. But the only way I can conceivably do this is assume that a lot of what people tell me, if they keep on saying it, that is to assume that if they just can't escape it and are always talking about it, that is something they value. And they really aren't going to be able to lie about that, whether they like it or not. They're going to gain nothing, lose nothing. It's just honesty.
Yeah.
People like talking about what they like. People like talking about themselves. Even if 10 millimeter is not the most talkative guy, but he's like family, family, family. And then whenever I'm typing, he's just like, or wait, let me tell you about this societal thing. It's genuinely, I don't, no disrespect to Lamb Sauce, but I do not know how you can conceivably see that is like him being SI over everything, the best and most valued, as opposed to TI when he literally does it all the time. He showed his competency on very stuff that a TI base, even more so than myself, like a TI creative, he's just very much more so capable. Just so, again, I'm not tied to
Yeah.
your type, but just treating this like respect, like I'm playing chess, if you will, treating the science, the math with respect, and people can check me on this. If I made a mistake, I will own up to it. But I think that logical assessment, treating what I just said like a mathematical proof, um, your
Mhm.
LSI, your LSI 10 mil.
And let me just say something. If any of you morons think I'm lying, I'll get like my family members on the mic and I'll ask them questions about like what you think I'm lying about. You will click like clearly I'm not lying about any of this. It's all me.
I often feel the same way about myself on here. Anyway, transparency. That is most important here. I might even get a little bit creative with this one. I think, I told you simply for whatever reason the Discord thing is not showing the call. I get that, blah blah blah. If I can somehow edit it to do, show one still image because I'm not a genius video editor, I might just simply find a picture to me what transparency means because I feel as though you've been very transparent to me this entire time. I've done the same to you, and that's why we kind of just figured out your LSI. So, you happy with that, dude?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Let's
That's
wrap
it's
it up.
accurate too.
Let's wrap it up. Everybody, thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, share this as far as humanly possible so we can just engage in these discussions. We can really just see how far we can take this thing. I got my Discord link in the description down below. Any sort of other links I establish. I'm working on doing a Twitch. To get these live typings in. Y'all can see me once I find my webcam and stuff like that. We'll get everything up and rolling. Just the Discord and the YouTube is what's firm now. So get involved now. Never going to be too late, but just get on here right now. Thanks for watching, everybody, and bye-bye.